Hello again. Thank you so much if you watched my video last week. If you didn't and you're new and you're seeing my face for the first time, hello. I just want to say thank you so much for all the kind comments on my video last week. It did exponentially better than I was anticipating. I was bracing myself for like 50 views, and it actually did really well, so I really thank you so much to everybody who liked it and commented. I really appreciate that. Let me know if you have any requests or anything, and I am more than happy to do that. This week, I'm doing my base routine. I got a lot of comments on that video about what I was wearing on my skin because I did not include it in the video tutorial. So that's what I did this week, is I did my skin, talked through it a little bit, kind of an in-depth tutorial on what I usually do and what I did specifically in that video. Most days if I'm wearing makeup, this is what I'm doing on my skin. I have a few different variations that I kind of sometimes go to, but generally speaking, as of this point in time, this has been my skin routine. Okay, so starting off with a clean canvas. I always use like a really soothing, rich moisturizer. I have pretty sensitive and pretty dry skin. Today I did Cicaplast from La Roche-Posay, which is kind of a crazy thing to do for an everyday vibe because it's like a balm, but I don't know, it works for me. For complexion, I started out with the Milk Hydro Grip Gel Tint, which you've probably seen. It's pretty trendy online right now, and it's a really nice in between like a tint and a foundation. To me, this is a foundation, to be honest. I would consider this like medium coverage, and I usually like to put a little bit on my hand like this, and then I just pat it all over my face. This is honestly my favorite way to just get the product everywhere. I really only do this with like tints and like gels and tinted moisturizers and things like that because you can kind of just rub them right in. I wouldn't necessarily do this with like a full coverage foundation. I would probably go off the back of my hand for something like that. There's obviously fingerprints and smudges all over. It looks crazy. So I'm gonna take this Bdellium Tools big fluffy brush, and I'm just going to softly pat out any markings. I use a really soft amount of pressure because the softer hand you use to apply your makeup, the softer it's going to be. The blend is just going to be nicer. Okay, so that's just the gel tint. It's such a nice pretty color. It's a little bit fair on me in a good way, not too fair where I can't wear it, but fair enough where I feel like a little bit ghosty and pale. Next, for concealer, I'm gonna use this new brand. I don't actually know if it's a new brand, but it's new to me. I found it at Sephora. I got it during the sale. Kulfi. This is a really beautiful shade of concealer. It's a nice neutral. I'm gonna put it on the back of my hand so you can kind of see. It's got a little bit of a pinky undertone, but not too pinky where it's like too rosy on me. This is the shade Bad Badam. This has a similar texture to the Milk Skin Tint. Interestingly enough, it's almost like a gel concealer texture, which I really like. I'm gonna go in onto the back of my hand with a little eyeshadow brush like this and just press it into that brush, like really mix it up in there. Then I'm going to just softly brush that underneath my eye. Going in under your eyes from the brush versus putting the concealer applicator straight onto your skin helps you only put as much product as you actually need to cover up dark circles or whatever you are trying to cover up. You're only going to use as much as you need, and you're a lot less likely to deal with much creasing or product sliding around. I'm doing the same thing on my eyebrows. I have really pale skin and really dark hair, so I, even on freshly shaved brows, have a little bit of like a 5 o'clock shadow almost, which is kind of funny, but honestly it's really annoying. And then usually my main spots that I hit with concealer are by my nose, where I also tend to get red, and the corners of my mouth. because those can, I feel, get a little discoloration, and that is really nice for brightening, just to hit right under the lip. Oh, I forgot to mention to add a lip balm. I love this Nectar Salve. It's great. I'm gonna put a little bit of that. Okay, and then just for little spot treatments, I did take the wand and just dot them right on where I have like some hyperpigmentation. And I'm just gonna softly pat that out. To blend it out, I'm just literally barely tapping it with the brush, mostly around the perimeter. That way the majority of the product that I laid down stays exactly where I laid it down. Okay, next, contour. It's the Intuition Inner Glow Cream Pigment from Rituel de Fille. Ding! This is my personal one. I do also have this in my pro kit because it is such a great cool tone contour. Also, they just released new shades, so I kind of want to get my hands on those. I love this Bdellium Tools flat brush. It's fluffy, but it's angled and it's a little bit skinny. It's perfect for a little contour vibe. So I just go straight in here, and then I take it on the heel of my hand just to like make sure I'm not gonna get any globs. And I'm just gonna go right under my cheekbone like this. And I don't really start from way back here. I don't feel the need to do that. I can blend it back that way, but if I'm looking straight at you, the shadow is here just because of my face shape. If I had a strong cheekbone that went all the way to my hairline, I can take it in there. But that's just not really what my face, the shape of my face is. My cheeks are more in the center. So I'm just going to create that shadow right there. I'm gonna softly blend it up and just tuck it right in this little pocket. I'm also going to take a little bit here, sharpen up my jawline just a little bit. Okay, now I'm gonna do a little bit of nose contour. I'm not like a huge nose contour girly for myself, but sometimes I feel like I have so many shadows happening that my nose just kind of gets lost a little bit. So I like it to just have a little something in the middle of my face. I'm just gonna take that same shade and go straight line right on the tip of my nose on either side. And a little bit underneath. And I kind of do narrow it down towards the bottom. Just a little something. I'm just gonna take my foundation brush and pat that out really softly. Last cream product before we get into Powder City. I've been really loving this Ciele blush. This is in the shade Behati. Slay. Also, it randomly has SPF 50, which is cool, so it's a little extra SPF on your cheekies. Dusky, neutral, soft pink. Non-offensive, soft blush color. I'm not a huge blush person on myself. Sometimes I do feel, especially in pictures, if I don't have a little bit of blush on, it can be a little like corpse-ish in a not as good way. So I'm just gonna take this big fluffy brush and go right on the back of my hand and really pat it in. And then I like my blush right on my cheekbone. On me, I hate blush over here. It makes no sense on my face. My cheeks are here. So I'm putting it right there. Sometimes after I do my cream blush, I'll retake my contour shade and just like reinforce it right underneath. Now it's time for some powder. I kind of love powder. I'm kind of in my matte skin era right now for whatever reason. Maybe because you don't have to touch it up so much and you don't have to worry about it so much. And a soft matte luminous base is just glam and gorgeous. So my favorite powder that I'm almost out of right now is the Makeup by Mario #1 Fair Pink. She's popular for a reason. I'm also a puff girl. If you're not putting your powder on with a puff, I don't know what you're doing. So I'm just gonna dip that softly into the powder. That's a lot, so I'm gonna go like this. Pat it off of my hand. Also, before you powder, always make sure that your under eye is buffed out. Because in the time that it took to do my contour and my blush and whatever, I might have a little crease. And then I'm just going to press it right under my eye. I'm not baking. I want that to be very clear. I'm just pressing the powder in. Taking it on the sponge, tapping it off on my hand, and just going right where I want my face to be matte. So under my eyes, this area by my mouth and where my mouth and my cheek meet, that little valley, that's where you can kind of really get a little sweaty Betty, where the shiny dewy vibe is not as cute because it's like, why is your mouth wet? You're sweaty. I am gonna go over my eyebrows. Obviously most people, you don't need to worry about that, but I have a lot of concealer on my eyebrows, so I kind of really need to set that. And then if I'm being Miss Glam, I will also take a little extra, a little more than I used on the rest of my face, and do a little snatcherine. Now that I'm nicely matte and even, and I have a little bit of structure happening and a little bit of color up in my face, I'm gonna go in with some powders. So this is my favorite contour. I use this every single day on myself. This is a Sephora collection contour in the shade Fair to Light, number 1. I have all of the shades and they are in my professional kit and I use them literally all the time. They are bomb. I'm going to take a little baby fluffy brush and I'm just gonna go tap it off on my hand, and then I'm just gonna go in. I don't know why, but I am a swirler. I love to swirl product when I put it on. I don't know if it's helpful or if I'm just being dramatic or what. Some people are tappers. Some people go like this. I'm a swirler. I'm gonna just swirl it in. Swirl it in. I like to swirl in these corners because it's like straight swirl up, straight swirl up. That way it's like you have a more of a defined line on the bottom, but it blends softly up towards the face. Okay, for a little powdery blush, I'm gonna use my favorite McGrath Labs Fleurtatious blush. It's literally the softest, neutrally pinky taupe color. It's perfect. I literally use it all the time. And I'm literally just putting it over where I put the blush from before. Right on the apples of my cheeks. That is pretty much my completed base routine. That's basically, if I'm getting ready in 10 minutes, those are the products that I'm grabbing and I'm slapping them on very quickly. And it usually just pretty much looks exactly like this. So she's tried and true. She's been tested in the field of being on set for extremely long days. This is pretty much the makeup I travel with, plus like some lips and eye stuff. So yeah. I'm gonna finish my makeup and then I'll be back. Okie dokie. That's the skin. I've been obsessed with this like round eyeliner for some reason. I don't know what made me want to start doing this, but I've been just like wearing it all the time. I'm kind of obsessed with it. But yeah, that's the freaking base routine. But yeah, thank you so much for watching my base routine. I am so excited to be finally making long form content. I've been wanting to do this for like a decade now and I'm finally actually doing it. So that's really exciting. I think the timing feels right. So thank you so much for being here. If you made it to the end of the video,